Sorry, in the middle of the Erev, and there's also there was not major issues, but whatever. Sorry.
I thought it's not your ASIC.
No, the Erev is my ASIC.
In Far Rockaway?
That too, but I'm on vacation from that, and in the country. I didn't do the other Erev either, so I hope the other Erev. I gotta go head over there now. Whatever after. Okay, so first daf is very long today, and the second daf is very short. It's up to Mishna, yeah. Hey, unfortunately, today's daf is Nagei Lamaisa. Unfortunately. So it's up to Mishna, yeah. Hatinoikas, right? Pebes on Aleph right on the top. Hatinoikas, children, ain't Mesana Noisam Yom Kippur. They don't fast on Yom Kippur. Ava Mechancha Noisam, but you mechanach them l'fnei shonav l'fnei shnasayim before a year or 2 years, b'shvil sheyu reginu b'mitzvahs, so that they should be rugged to do mitzvahs. Right, that's the standard. That is the standard chinuch.
Is that a din deraisa? Is that a din deraisa?
No, it's a din derabbanan. Chinuch is a din derabbanan.
This Mishna is only derabanan?
What?
This Mishna is only talking derabanan?
The derabbanan, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So talk to Gemara. Yeah. So, before 2 years, it says we're mechanachim a year or two before. Well, if you mechanachim from 2 years, let's say 11, so of course you mechanach them at 12 a year before. One is talking about where the kid is as a chayla, meaning he's a shvacha kid, and hababari is one is talking about with a healthy kid. Right. So a healthy kid, you can start being mechanachim 2 years early. And a non-healthy kid, you can start being mechanech a year early, right? Some of whom ben chesu ben tes mechanech l'shois. An 8 and a 9-year-old, you mechanech them for hours, meaning they what do you call it? They fast for a couple of hours. Like let's say Yom Kippur by night, not necessarily in the morning. Ben Yud or Ben Yud Aleph mashlimin midrabanon. If they're 10, 11-year-old, then they finish. Again, Ben Yud or Ben Yud Aleph, Rashi says means. If he's well, strong, then 10 years old. By the way, 10 years old means 11 years old, right? In the 10th year, right? In the 10th year, meaning when they're done the 10 years, so they're already into the 11th year. Right? A bar mitzvah is in his 14th year, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Ben Yud Beis mashlimin midaraisa, and Ben Yud Beis mashlimin midaraisa. Right? Yeah. So, I'm sorry, because that's by a what do you call it? A girl. So, yeah. From Nachman Omar Ben Tes Ben Yud Mechanchen L'Shois Tes Yud 9 or 10 Mechanchen for hours. Ben Yud Aleph Ben Yud Beis Mashlimin Midrabanon. Ben Yud Gimel Mashlimin Midaraisa. Right? And Betinok, and that's talking about boys, right? So there's no machlokes. Sounds like there's a machlokes or not. There's no machlokes, right? One is talking about the girls' ages, and one is talking about the what do you call it? The boys' ages. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, so anyway, so that's what they're saying. But if there is no mitzvah d'Rabbanon to finish fasting. Ben Yud Aleph mechanchen to the shois, a 10 or 11-year-old mechanchen for hours. Ben Yud Beis mashlimin midaraisa, and a 12-year-old is midaraisa, meaning a 12-year-old girl is midaraisa. This is all assuming that they have shtei cyrus, right? If they don't have shtei cyrus, then they're really they're not considered bar or bas mitzvah, right? Correct?
Deraisa.
Deraisa, yes, deraisa, yeah.
We don't cancel the caterer.
You do not cancel the caterer, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
but this whole din is not the rice anyway. It's chinuch.
Correct. Yeah, it's chinuch. And the thing is like this: it's the chinuch is on the father, not on the mother.
Right. I'm saying.
I'm just saying that. Although that's a shaila, it's a shaila in the poskim, really, whether it's on the father or the mother.
What Jewish
which is
mother's
something-
not going to have her son or daughter eat? I mean, come on.
True, that is true. Well, we'll get to the halacha l'maisa in a minute. Yesterday, I think I forgot to talk about with the feeding the kids. Was it yesterday? Today? I don't know. We'll see. Let's finish this. So Tanan, Atinoikas, Ein Mesayin, Ein Ma'anin Oisam B'Yom Kippurim. Kids, you not. Yeah.
The lotion in the Mishnah is ein ma'anin. What does that mean? Ein ma'anin.
You don't cause them inui, meaning the other inuyim also.
So you have to be a dime, give them the food, or you can't say take the cereal from the closet.
Very good. That was mamish. That's mamish the issue. So we're saying that it seems to be saying that with the food, you're not allowed to feed them from the age 10, 11, whatever those ages are. You're not allowed to feed them.
Rashi's mashma from there. The top Rashi says that you ain't chayav and leminoya mehen meichel. It doesn't sound like you give it to them. You don't have to.
Correct, right.
No,
You're
say,
not-
I want to know
right.
if it's also to give it to them. The same way
It might be.
you
Yes,
can't
it
give
might
them
be also.
tafis on a regular Tuesday.
Correct. Yeah, that's a big shot. It's not poshut that you're allowed to feed your kid on Yom Kippur.
You said it a day or two ago. We learned it. You're not allowed to feed them. Period. We learned it.
No. We said that how are you allowed to go feed them? It's not poshut at all. But lamaisa, you're really not supposed to hand it to them, right?
Right. We learned it a lot ago.
Yeah, but here's a Mishnah.
Yeah. Okay, we don't have that much time today. That's the problem. It's Friday.
Okay,
the Tosis
fine.
also from the Ashas Tosis. Ashas Tosis is today, also. Right? Because on the next sugya. Okay, but let's see. So Tanan, Atinoikas ain't ma'anin. You're not ma'anin him. B'chanchan oisay l'fnei shana v'l'shnei shtayim. Right? That's our Mishnah. So Bishlam Rav Huna v'Rav Nachman l'fnei shana v'l'shnei shtayim. Right? It's a year or 2 years. L'fnei shana l'divreyan. So l'fnei shana can be according to the Rabbanan, v'l'fnei shtayim l'divreyan, and 2 years before is also, right? Right, meaning it's the 1 year is compared to the 2 years and their it's the Rabbanan. Other Rabbi Yochanan kasha, but according to Rabbi Yochanan, how does he pass in the Mishnah? Says you are to let him fast a year or two. So Rabbi Yochanan, my shana shtayim samach lepirkon. It means a year or two close to their age, right? So basically, he's changing the mashmaas of the Mishnah, right? So it's not that you're training them in 2 or 3 years before, right? That we start you start telling them to start trying to fast before, but it's not necessarily telling them that it's a chiyuv. Okay, so Tashema, the Tani Rabbi Bashmul, Tinaikus ein ma'anin oiseh b'Yom Kippur. A Tinaikus, we're not ma'anin them on Yom Kippur, we don't cause them pain. It's a bishlam Rabbi Yochanan nicha. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, it's good, right? Right, because he could say that it's talking about 1 year is for a sick child and 2 years is for a well child. According to Rav Nachman, right? That the sick kid, even the sick kid, is 3 years. So what's the year or two? What do we when they mean chinuch? They mean to finish off the fast. Just to do shoys. That's not chinuch. Chinuch means to give it the whole entire fast. And Gemara asks, we call it the chinuch hashlama. Do we call chinuch hashlama? You call completing hashlama vatanya eze chinuch right? What's chinuch? If you're used to eating it in 2 hours, meaning if he normally eats 2 hours into the day, you let him eat 3 hours into the day. With 3, you let him eat 4, right? So that's called chinuch. So how can you say that chinuch is only that they fast the whole day? There's 2 types of chinuch, right? There could be a chinuch for the whole day, and then there could be chinuch for part of the day. Yeah. What are you saying? Anyway, so what's the halacha l'maisa Shulchan Aruch paskins like this, that you really mechuyev to make a kid do fast for a couple hours, and really that 12-year-old should fast. The Mishna already says that we don't do this. We don't do this anymore. The kids are too shvach. In today's generation, the adults barely could fast. Culture came to kids, so we don't do any of this.
We don't even have them fast a couple hours more.
No, a couple hours. Yeah, once they're at 9, 10, whatever, 11. Yes, they should fast a couple of hours, but not any more than that. When I was 12, I became a mitzvah on a Hanukkah. So Yom Kippur was 3 months before my bar mitzvah, and I was fasting fine. Before Nila, my father's made me go drink, and I was rolling. I was ready to go, but he didn't tolerate it. On the other hand, I have my son who's 14. If I tell you after the fast day, yesterday or 2 days, whatever, Sunday, the kid was he was just totally zonked out. I said to myself, if I had the guts, I would not have this kid fast. I would not have it. And he's 14. But what can I do? All right. So Zok the Mishna. Ubra sheiricha, famous Mishna. Ubra sheiricha. So if you have a pregnant woman that smells good food, so you feed her the food, meaning this is on Yom Kippur or treif, until she calms down. We feed him with bekian through, meaning bekian doctors. And if there's no bekian, then we feed him on himself, meaning we let him be the judge. We let him be the judge of whether he needs it, and you ask him if he needs it. And we'll see in the Gemara that you have to also tell him that it's Yom Kippur. You have to give him like a little reminder. By the way, it's Yom Kippur. And if he still says he needs it, you give it to him. Okay? Tomorrow's daf, as the Shem, will be if the doctors, when you have steroids. I think it's tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow's daf. Okay, turn about it. Let's say an uber, a pregnant woman smells hektish, or basar chazir, or treif. Like kush beraitiv, what you do is you stick a stick into the soup, meaning into the liquid, and then you put that on the mouth. If that calms her down, that's good. And if not, then we give her the actual liquid. And if that calms her down, that's good. You give her the actual treif. And this is not one of those 3, right? Only the big 3 is what we say that's that you don't kill you, that you kill yourself for. Everything else you don't die for, right? So, but what's very interesting here in the world of kashrus, what's the point of you cook the meat in the gravy, right? And we take a stick and we give her some of the gravy, right? Isn't that treif? Isn't that gravy just as treif as the meat itself? So it's clear from this Gemara that the gravy is not as treif.
On the timer.
Right? Even though
it's tam, no?
Even though
it's tam.
What do you call it?
Isn't it?
Hold on. What do you say?
It's tam. Tam is not.
It's tam. So there's a machlokes. So the reason is because there's what do you call it? There's a machlokes where the tam is ke'ikar. The tray. You're not eating the treif. You're eating the taste that's coming out of the treif. Right. So that's a machlokes. Tam is a machlokes. So since it's a machlokes, even though lemaisa we paskin that tam ke'ikar is daraisa. Right. So you're not allowed to go and eat the liquid from treif. That's considered totally treif. But the maisa, since it's a machlokes, we'd rather give her a little bit of gravy and not the actual meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. So that's why we do that first. Okay. So now the Gemara goes through all through. So avoda zara minala. How do you know that you don't do avoda? Meaning, if somebody chas v'shalom is threatened with death, that he does not do avodah zarah and he has to die. The Tani Rebbe Eliezer, it says right in Kriya Shema, it says you should love Hashem with all your heart. So what do you need with everything that you have? Your heart's included. And if you say with all that you have, so why not? So if you have a person whose body, he likes his body more than his money, right? So those, let's say, stuntmen and stuff like that. So they clearly, I'm sorry, that's the opposite. Gufay is chavav. That's most of us, right? We take a loss to put our lives at risk. So then that's including him. Right? Those are like stunt guys that they'd rather make money than their body. That's what it says with all that you have. So that's how you know about the Zara. And how about killing and arayas? The same way somebody gets up and he goes to kill, so too when a woman gets raped, we assume that she did not participate and the guy just came and was ma'aneser, having nothing to do. She was not a participant, and therefore she doesn't get punished. Now, why do you have to compare it to a murder? What are we trying to learn out from a Ritzeh to an Ayrasa? It's coming to teach you something, right? And we're also going to learn out something. Just like a Naira Marasa, right? Meaning you can kill the guy that's being ma'aneser. Yeah, you're allowed to kill. So after Ritzeh, so to Ritzeh, you're allowed to kill the person killing, that would potential killer. And Maritzech Yarig Bal Yavar, just like the killer, is Yarig Bal Yavar, Afnaira, meaning the Ritzeh is not allowed to kill to the point that he has to die before he kills somebody. Afnaira Murasa, Yaharig Bal Yavar, so to a Naira Murasa, right? That he the guy has to make sure that he gets killed. Right? Meaning anybody instead of being Mizana and Ashes Ish, instead of being Mizana and Ashes Ish, the person has to die.
I don't understand. I don't understand this.
Right? Why?
Because if there's no Edom and Hasra, so Bezdin can't kill him. He could rape a married lady, and he goes home. And Bezdin, they said, "What do you do?" He said, "Well, there was nobody gave me an Hasra, so."
Right, so, it's true, but Lamaisa, it's still a Issa Daraisa of Gili Arayas. He may not get punished.
I understand that, but you're killing when there's no way. That's why you kill it. The guy somebody shoots him, it's fine.
Right.
But Bezdin would never give the guy Misa for this.
He gets a Machlokes of what nafsho is. Is it the victim or is it the perpetrator? Who are you trying to save here? It's Machlokes, I believe.
Right, no, it's true, but Lamaisa, it's still Gili Arayas. Even if there's no punishment, you have to. Right?
Okay.
Now what's with this Taisvis? This Taisvis, which takes up most of Amud Beis, is the famous Taisvis of Esther. What?
Karka Olam?
Karka Olam. This Taisvis is Esther. Esther Karka Olam is this big Taisvis. Right? Because how was Esther to save her life, went willingly to be Mizana, right? How could she be go be Mizana? So then we say that's what Taisa says. He starts talking about it, that she's Karka Olam, right? And really a woman is not an active participant in it. Yeah. So that's okay. But, like every other Friday, the Geshmak Sugis are on Friday. Yeah.
Lamaisa, she went to Achashverosh. So she wasn't a participant. She didn't.
The what?
Even though we don't consider the Maisa as she did anything, but she went to them.
Yeah, so that's the Shaila. She went, even though the Maisa itself wasn't. That's the problem that the Poskim had. Right? That's the problem the Poskim had. Taisvus in Megillah, Be'ezus Hashem, we do Megillah. In Megillah, there's a Taisvus that says that they used a condom, and that's a shita that we do not paskin like. And there because it wasn't skin to skin. Taisus also says that there was a shade. It was really a shade. There was a shade that represented Esther. You have all these teruts, but the famous teretz is from here. Yeah, fine. And how do you know Ritzayah? That he's not allowed to kill. Can you hear? Was that?
Yeah.
But Ritzayah Gufay Minalon. How do you know the Ritzayah? Svara here, it's a Svara. Dahudas Lakamei the Rava. So there was a person came in Rava or Rabba Amrle Mari Durai Katle Laplania. Right? Go kill Pliny. Viloi Katil Nalach, and if not, I'm going to kill you. So Amrle said, Naktilna Nick Talach, you should be killed, Viloi Siktal, and you shouldn't kill anybody else. Why? Because my chaz is the Damadidach Samik Tfei. Who says your blood is redder than the other one's blood? Dilma Damada, who Gavra Samik Tfei. Maybe that person's blood is redder. Meaning, who says you're chashiv? Right? Who says you're more chashiv than the other guy? Why do we need you alive anymore? You were unfortunately chosen to die. Right? So therefore, you are the one that has to die. You don't kill somebody else. Fine. Now the next Gemara here. This is where people get a little spooked out by what goes on by pregnancy. There was a pregnant woman who smelled something. Also, look at the Rebbe. She came in front of Rebbe. So Rebbe said to them, go whisper to her that it's Yom Kippur, right? And maybe she'll chap. So they whispered to her, and it helped and it calmed her down. So Rebbe called on this fetus. That's what caused her to have this whole taiva. Right? Before you even created, you already know, right? He already knows he's already going to be considered a kaddish. Yeah. So Nafik may know Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan was the one that was born from that. So you see that clearly a keeping kashrus, even though the fetus is not born yet, is a big thing. Meaning what the mother eats when she's pregnant can affect the fetus, right? It sounds like a Farish Gemara, right?
Dafka when she's pregnant?
Dafka when she's pregnant, yeah. Dafka when she's pregnant.
Also,
yeah.
What about nursing?
Nursing, the Ramah says too. But here you see that but here the point is that it's mashma that this fetus is alive. All the all the pro-abortionists, right? This is a kasha on it, because this fetus, it's saying that this fetus is alive. It's a viable yid.
Does this have does a woman's taiva,
what do you say?
Does a woman's taiva, for things, does that have any basis in halacha today?
A woman's what?
That she craves something. That she's craving.
Yes, it does have.
Yeah.
Yes. The way it manifests itself the most nowadays is if a woman is fleishiks and she's pregnant and she really wants milchiks, then we're gonna try. After an hour, we're very lenient. After 1 hour, we're very lenient to allow her to have milchiks.
How does it play itself on Yom Kippur?
Not really. Nowadays, we don't really have. It doesn't really. If it would happen, then yeah.
Is it sakana or not?
Yeah, it is. But for some reason, it seems like the mitzvah has changed for the most part, and the women don't get crazy like this. We're going to see tomorrow's daf that men also got crazy with their. I mean, on this daf is not a good thing because we say that men do still go crazy with food, but lamaisa, somebody going so crazy, it seems like that mitzvah is changed.
Is it a sakana of the mother or the fetus or both?
I think both. I think more the mother, but if the mother goes down, so then the fetus also. I mean, it's. I think it could be both, but ikar is the mother. Yeah.
So a fetus. So 1 week after conception, you're worried about the fetus. You were worried about
you would need at least 40 days. Even a lot of places can say it's got to be 40 days before we consider it pregnant, which many women don't know they're pregnant anyways till it's 40 days. Yeah, okay, let's see the other story. A woman smelled something. Also, look, she came from Rav Chanina. He said, whispered to her at Yom Kippur, and it didn't help. And he called on her a different pasuk, Zara Rishayim Merechem. right? That the Rishayim are Zrayim from the like Zar from the, hold on, I'll be done in a second. Merechem from the womb, Nafak Minas Shapsai, Otza Peri, and Shapsai, the guy who hoarded all the fruits in Eretz Yisrael, and mainly he had all the prices raised. So you see again that it works side to the positive and side to the negative. Another common case of a woman like that is that sometimes the woman, they get married and then they keep Chol of Yisrael and they get pregnant and they start wildly craving Chol of Stam, which happens to me all the time. And I never kept Chol of Stam. I never ate Chol of Stam, but I understand it.
And Mistama, you're not pregnant.
You know what? Looks could be deceiving. I mean, but you know, so in that situation also, you don't have to have such a stark. It's not such a choice issur like Yom Kippur to make her to answer her from eating it. Yeah. Okay. All right. A good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
All right. What time tomorrow? 10 o'clock, 10:05, Be'er.
Shabbos.
10:05. Thank you.
Have a good Shabbos.
It's Yaakov.
After, like, with Telson's bungalow, it goes to Varetsky's side. Okay, good. So we're done.
Yeah.
It's Yaakov.
Hello.
Yeah.
Guys, check the
Oh,
lanes of
that-
those.
I don't understand this last Gemara. The mother had a craving, and therefore it's a sign on what the kid is. Because the mother gave in to a taiva that she had.
What do you mean? That there should be something bad should come out from that?
Yeah, I mean it's not. You're right. It's a simon on the mother. It's not nothing to do with the kid.
It has to do with the kid. They're talking about the kid.
Yo,
They're talking about the kid.
Because the kid, but it was the mother who had this craving.
Right, but it's the kid that caused it. The kid caused it.
That she couldn't.
The way I understand it, the kid.
But I thought if it comes to sakana, I thought then it's we allow it to some extent. So it shouldn't have been. If it's sakana nefashos, then it's not. It shouldn't be any raya from the kid.
we're doing it together.
Yeah, I Hanami, but it seems like we're going to blame the kid anyways, right?
Right.
That's what it seems. Yeah. All right. Okay. Good Shabbos, everybody. Shabbos.